Fertilization and implantation from human reproduction. Welcome to Arka's Neat Biology, and now let us go into the concept of fertilization and implantation. So, fertilization is the process of fusion of male gamete and female gamete. The male gamete is the sperm and the female gamete is the ova. So, when there is sexual intercourse, when the sperms are being transferred into the female reproductive tract, they go into the fallopian tube and they undergo fertilization with that of the ova. So, this fertilization usually occurs in ampulla isthmus junction, which is present in the fallopian tube. Now, what are the events which are being occurred at the time of fusion of sperm with that of the ova? Now, if you see the structure of this ova, the ova is being covered by many layers. The secondary oocyte forms a membrane called as zona pellucida, and this is again surrounded by the toughened granulosa cells called as corona radiata. So, when the sperm is entering towards the ova, it induces the reactions like acrosomal reactions and cortical reactions and zonal reactions. Now coming to acrosomal reaction, the sperm head consists of a cap-like structure called as acrosome, and it produces a hydrolytic enzyme called as hyaluronidase. This helps in breaking the wall and easy penetration of the sperm head across the membrane of ova. And after that, it induces the cortical reaction as well as the zonal reaction. When the head of the sperm is touched with the membrane of ova, the ova membrane undergo depolarization. Due to this depolarization, it produces high number of calcium ions. This calcium ions induces the next two reactions called as the cortical reaction and zonal reaction. Now you can clearly observe the things which are happening in the above diagram. So when the sperm head is being touched with this, it is producing the calcium ions, and this induces the cortical reactions and the zonal reactions. So firstly, there is acrosomal reaction, that is the head of the sperm is being penetrated into the membrane with the help of an enzyme hyaluronidase. And after that, it initiates when the membrane gets depolarized and it produces the calcium ions, and this induces the cortical reaction. Okay, in the cortical reaction, whatever the cortical granules which are being present are being cleared off, and there is easy penetration of sperms into the ovum. And it also induces the zonal reaction. The zonal reaction is, it also produces several enzymes which prevent polyspermy. Once one sperm is entering, the other sperms are being stopped from entry into the ovum. So that steps are being induced by the zonal reaction. Okay, so these are the events which occurs at the time of cortical reaction and zonal reaction. And now after fertilization, what are the events which occurs means, here usually the fertilization occurs in the ampulla isthmus junction. After fertilization, the zygote is non-motile and it stays in the fallopian tube, and it induces the cleavage. Cleavage is nothing but the division of cells. And this first division occurs in the fallopian tube. Later on, this is being sent into the uterus. Before going into the uterus, the zygote undergoes successive changes, that is from 2 cell stage, it undergoes division into 4 cell stage, 4 cell stage to 8 cell stage. Here the individual daughter cells who are formed are called as blastomeres. And after this 8 to 16 cell stage, we can call it as morula. And later on, it forms a cavity. The cells are being dividing like a hollow sphere, and it leaves the outside cells and the inner cell mass. Okay, this is the inner cell mass and this is the outer cell layer, and in between them it consists of a fluid filled cavity called as blastocyst. And later on, the external cells which are present, that is the outer layer of cells called as trophoblast, these are being attached to the wall of endometrium. This trophoblast forms a finger-like structure called as trophoblastic villi, which forms the bondage between the endometrium as well as the initial blastocyst. So this step we can call it as implantation. Implantation is nothing but the attachment of blastocyst to the wall of uterus. Okay, so this happens usually at 8 to 9 days. And now fertilization and passage of growing embryo. Here you can see first the ovary is being releasing the ova at the time of ovulation, and this ova is being sent into fallopian tube. If there is sexual intercourse, the sperms are now ready to fertilize the ova. After fertilization, the zygote undergoes successive divisions. Okay, from 2 cell to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16 cell stage. And this morula is now allowed to transfer into the uterus. In the uterus, it is developed into blastocyst, and this blastocyst is attached to the wall of uterus. So, the cleavage here is called as a holoblastic cleavage with indeterminate cells. So now, how the embryo is being formed means by the fusion of gametes, the sperm and the ova. The sperm always consists of 22 pairs of autosomes and one X and Y chromosome, whereas the female consists of 22 pairs of autosomes and 2 sex chromosomes, that is 2X. So the ova always consists of 22 haploid set of ova consists of 22 autosomes as well as single X chromosome. The haploid sperm head may have either the X chromosome or the Y chromosome. So the sex of the baby is being determined by the type of the sperm which is fertilizing the egg. If the sperm is which is fertilizing is the X, then it leads to the formation of female. If the Y chromosome containing sperm is fertilizing the ova, then that leads to the formation of the male child. So this is about fertilization and implantation. If you like the video, share and subscribe. Press the bell icon to receive further notification. This is Pravalika signing off.